You're watching Hot Wok Academy. My name is Mingjin Tong. I want to help you master your kitchen. Today, we're making 番茄蛋 tomato and egg. Let's cook. Okay, quick run through of the ingredients. We've got vegetable oil for our woking later, and our aromatics today are going to be the Holy Trinity. Ginger root, garlic, and of course, scallion. Get yourself a big fat tomato. Mine is less than perfect, and you know what? Less than perfect produce is still delicious, so help yourself. I've got 4 eggs, and I've got salt, white pepper, MSG, and a little bit of chicken bouillon. So the way this dish is gonna go is we are going to use our aromatics and make them fragrant, add in our tomatoes, add in our egg, and we're gonna serve it over white rice. So first thing I wanna do is I'm gonna go ahead and crack my eggs because I want them to have sufficient time to sit in the salt after being beaten, and that is going to help, that will help our eggs to cook even fluffier. So if you're a fan of Kenji Lopez Alt, which if you're not, look him up. Of course, there's so much to learn from him. And he always tells us when you let your eggs sit for at least 15 minutes after being beaten with salt, what will happen is that they will actually turn orange. And when you cook them, they will be even fluffier and maintain even more moisture. So be sure to do that. I'll just put a little bit more salt in here. All right, and let's just give them a quick beat. I want to make them nice and fluffy. I want to get that salt in contact with that egg. And then I'm just going to let it sit aside. Make sure they are very well beaten. You don't want egg white left in your pan when you're cooking, okay? All right, so there's our egg beaten up. For our aromatics, what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna cut everything small because we're gonna cook every piece of it. So for our scallion, we're gonna go ahead and get rid of that. You can use the white and the green part of the scallion, and it doesn't have to be a perfect chop. You can just cut it small, basically. Everything else is going to be either ground or pressed. So these scallion pieces are really gonna be the only texture that you're working with in terms of a vegetable for this particular dish, okay? So here's our scallions. Let's get them into our bowl. Now, for our ginger root, you may have seen this before. This is a Kyocera ceramic grater, a really fantastic grater. It's got a silicone strip at the end to help it catch some grip, and it's got a silicone handle. I really, really love this one. You don't have to peel your ginger root. I never have my whole life. And ginger root is usually washed because it grows in the ground. So when you get it, it's ready to go. Let's go ahead and just grate that right in. And you can decide how much ginger root you want. If you like ginger root, add more. If you like it less, add less, but learn to like it more and you'll add more in the future because it really is delicious. So I'm gonna use probably about only 1/3 of this knob in total. Look at how nicely that grates down. And I really like ginger root, so I'm gonna add quite a bit here to this recipe. All right, and then you always have this little bit of fiber. That's great. You can use that essentially like a brush to wipe your ginger root in. All right, and then for our garlic, same thing. I'm just gonna use a tool on this. I'm not gonna use my knife, and I just wanna take a few pieces of garlic. Let's get a few of these cloves. And I love this garlic press. I know people say don't use a garlic press. Don't listen to them, they're fantastic. Watch how easy that just goes in. And all that's left is the skin. Super nice to use. Let's get a couple pieces of that in there. Pull the skin out here. And let's just do a couple more. This is all gonna be cooked down in the oil, so if you think, boy, that's a lot of aromatic flavors, it is, but it's what's giving flavor to our dish. Last one here. All right, we'll take care of this later. Let's go ahead and get these cooking. I've got here a 14-inch carbon steel wok, very nicely seasoned from years and years and years of use. And we're just gonna set that on an open flame. And for this, we don't need a high flame. We just need it really to be medium because we're gonna let this cook down a little while. So all that oil is gonna go to the bottom. It's gonna form the foundation of our dish. Let's go ahead and get that on a medium. And I'll let that warm up a little bit, but it doesn't really have to be perfect because it's gonna be kind of a longer cook time for the aromatics. All right, let's go ahead and get our scallion, ginger root, and garlic all into that oil. Ooh, that smells amazing. Let's let that sit for a second. I'm gonna turn my heat just a little bit lower. It really does not need to be very high. In this case, what I'm doing is I'm actually blooming all of these aromatics, and I'm gonna let that form the foundation of the flavor for our dish, okay? Let me clean my board just real quick. And then we can work on our tomato. For our tomato, I'm gonna get rid of obviously these kind of broken parts here. And what I wanna do is I wanna cut wedges. Now, you can cut the tomato in any shape that you want. For me, I like to have wedges because that's what I grew up with, so I'm kind of used to that. And I think I'll use about half a tomato for this. Nice thin wedges. They will cook quickly. And the wedges are also nice because sometimes the seeds will stay in a little bit better if they are on wedges instead of kind of cubed. All right. Let's look at this. This is looking really good. Looks like I need a little bit more oil, so I'll add that right now. Just looking a little dry, which is why I added some oil. Let's go ahead and get these tomatoes in. We'll let that cook down a little bit. And I think I've got enough egg that I can add just another quarter tomato here, so I'll do that. All right, let's get that in. And we're gonna let that cook. Now, tomato is a natural source of MSG. It's got a natural kind of a meatiness to it. However, I'm still gonna go ahead and flavor this dish. I haven't put any flavors in yet, so I'm gonna do a little bit of chicken bouillon. Just a pinch or two of MSG. Some white pepper, and of course, some salt. All right, let's let that cook. Okay, I don't want my tomatoes to break down too much, so I'm gonna decide that it is ready to do my eggs. Now, for the eggs, I kind of want them to cook quickly, which means I want to turn my heat up, and I'm going to go ahead and add them in now. And here's the trick. I don't like for this dish to be overcooked. I kind of like my eggs to be a little bit runny, and so I'm going to keep the heat high and cook them rather quickly. I'm going to keep moving my product away from the bottom because that's where it is cooking the most rapidly. You can see kind of the nice curds of egg begin to form there on the bottom. Let me turn my heat all the way up. And this dish is normally served over rice. Look at how beautiful that is. You can see all the scallion pieces in there. Believe me, this dish has a huge following in China. Very, very popular dish. Fan qie dan. And it's because it's got so many aromatics, and it's a great way to enjoy egg and tomato. Again, I'm not a big fan of dried out eggs, so I'm getting really close to calling it done. My kids like their eggs a little bit more cooked, so we'll see. I'll bring it to about a halfway here. Okay, this is looking really good. You can see it's beginning to hold together. All right, that's looking about right to me. Maybe just a couple more flips here. I like them nice and juicy. Let's go ahead and plate this. Serve it with some toppings if you want, some garnishes, something green on top. Eat it over rice. Guaranteed you're gonna love it. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and of course, please share. Thanks so much.